This reminds me of a story of a nahual that did get adopted and did have a house. This happened in a small town in Mexico, where houses are far apart from each other and there's a lot of space between them. There, people normally work on the field or the land or in a farm. So this man was walking back from work to his house when he saw a big black dog. He thought it was really cute, so he went near him. He started petting him, talking to him. Hey, how are you? And he decided to adopt him. He brought him in, fed him, let him sleep inside the house. He made him his pet. After a while, he invited a friend by. This friend happened to be a warlock. When he arrived at the house and saw the dog, he asked his friend, "Do we speak in private?" His friend agreed. So once they were alone, his warlock friend told him, "That dog is a human. You need to be careful. You already made a big mistake bringing him into your house, to your family. You need to get rid of him, or he will become your owner." He didn't think much about it. I mean, he thought his friend was simply a little bit crazy, to be honest. He thought the dog was a dog and that's all. So he told his friend, "Yeah, sure. Thank you for the advice." His friend left. A few days, months went by, and one day that he was home alone, he heard a voice in his house. He thought somebody broke in, so he went to the room where he heard the voice. He went slowly, scared he was gonna find some robbers or somebody inside his house. When he opened the door to see who was in, he only saw his dog, waving his tail, salivating, looking at him. He got really scared, remembering what his warlock friend told him. So he thought, he might be a human. I need to talk to my friend. He called his friend and told him what happened. He think he heard his dog talk and didn't know what to do. His friend told him, "You have to get rid of him. It's really bad the situation you're in, and it can get worse. You need to stop it now." He agreed, scared of his own personal safety. So his friend came by that week. Once he was there, he asked, "What do we do now?" "Let's take him outside." They tied him with a rope to a tree. The dog allowed this. Then, he was uncertain what to do. His warlock friend told him, "You have to get rid of him. You know what to do." He went inside a shack he had on the backyard.
A shot?
A shack, a little house you have in the backyard. He went in there and brought out a shotgun. He loaded, pointed to the forehead of the dog, between his eyes. The dog didn't flinch, didn't do nothing. And then, he shot. The dog stayed there, looking at him, staring at him.
Nothing happened to the dog?
After the shot and the big bang, he took the shotgun away, but it was like the bullet didn't shoot because the dog was in perfect state. Like, not even the noise of the shotgun here made the dog flinch. He got really scared and asked, "What should we do now?" to his friend. His warlock friend was also scared. He didn't expect this. So he told him, "Let's get out of here." Once they turned their back to the dog and started to walk away, the dog started talking.
"Hey, don't leave me here. Hey, we're friends, right? Don't abandon me."
They got away and left the house. He was so scared he stayed that night with his warlock friend at his place. The next day, they went back. Everything looked normal when they arrived home, like at the front everything was normal. They opened the door, went in the house, everything looked like they left it. Then they went to the backyard. Once in the backyard, they saw the tree where they have tied the dog, and the dog was no longer there. The rope they tied with him was broken. But around the tree, there were a lot of dead animals. And these dead animals were not like normal dead animals. They were like birds, some frogs, like many dead animals. But the weird part was that they had their insides out.
Like if they were open?
Like if somebody opened them, but instead of like eating their insides or getting them rid of them, just took them outside and left them there. They got really scared when they saw that. But what got them more scared is that with that shock, they heard somebody knocking at the door.
Like at the front door?
at the front door. Now this was really weird because the neighbors were far away. The houses, they like they didn't know who could it be, and more because they just arrived. So they go to open the front door, just to find the front yard full of dead animals as well, with their insides out,
Just at the back?
just as the back. But when they came in through the front, nothing was there. It was normal. So like in a few seconds, the front yard was also filled with dead animals, with their insides out.
So front and backyard?
They got really scared, so they ran to the backyard to see if something was there. And when they arrived, there was nothing there. No, there were no dead animals. Nothing. No insides. It was like if nothing had happened. Even the rope was gone. This led them in a real shock, and they didn't know what to do after that. But he says he never saw that dog again. It didn't come back.
Well, at least it didn't come back. Because can you imagine walking inside your house and then hearing a noise, and suddenly what you saw on one place that is already scary being changed in just a second to other place after you just looked away?
That, and on top of that, that dog. Imagine that you just tried to kill your dog, and then he starts talking, and nothing happened to him, and it was like if nothing had happened there.
But you know what's the weirdest thing and what gets me thinking? Why leaving the entrails of other animals there? Like, what's the meaning of that?
I think that was to confuse them, for them to not know what to do with the entrails, because we need to remember that an nahual is a highly trained warlock, a highly trained sorcerer. To get to that level, it's not that you just know that trick. They know many tricks, and I think that was to confuse them because there was another warlock there. I heard this story from Veracruz. Around the 1920s, well, they say there are a lot of nahuales around Mexico. You don't really know who they are because you can see animals or people, and you don't know if they are warlocks. Like you don't know if what somebody does. But around 1920s in Veracruz, it was common for the legend of Nahuales and these type of things to be known. So once a town like got cursed, like their crops were not growing anymore, the land was not working, but most importantly, animals were disappearing or being eaten, they knew something was wrong.
Eating like the chupacabras eat them?
Yeah, so they usually say this, but in some towns they said nahuales or different things. So in this town, this happened to a farmer, like to a farm owner, and he didn't know what to do. And in Veracruz, there's a town that is called Catemaco, that it is known for having a lot of warlocks.
I've heard about that sign also. It's not only that there were warlocks there. People are so used to magic there that they won't accept food from no one. Before starting the day, they will sweep and mop with Clorox their businesses, their houses, for them not to get any curse at all. And people know there that magic is so real that everyone covers their back for anything that could happen to them. Up to today, it's a place with a lot of magic. There's even a place called the Devil's Cave where people go make pacts with what they say is the devil.
It is a very spiritual town where a lot of things happen. So the owner goes there looking for a warlock, asking many of them, saying, I have an nahual problem. He's eating my crops. No, well, he's ruining my crops and eating my animals. Many of them told him, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to help you. He went asking around, and one told him, I can help you, but I'll charge you 5% of all your crops. Like 5% of your profit. He accepted. He needed to solve this problem, so he took him there. When he arrived, he started looking around the crops for something. He was looking. The owner looked like strange, like he didn't understand. He thought he was going to do a ritual or something. As at a certain point, he said, "Aha!" Like he found what he was looking for. The other one looked, "What is it? What is it?" Thinking he was going to find a nahual, but instead, there were entrails on the floor. Neither human or animal, but just entrails.
Just laying there on the floor?
Like you couldn't say what what they were. Just laying there on the floor. The other were like, "What is this?" The warlock told him, "This is what I was looking for. These are the entrails of the nahual." He took out a lime and poured them on top of the entrails.
What do you mean he put the lime on top of the entrail? Like he took the lime and just placed it there?
No, like squeeze the lime juice. He placed lime juice on top of the entrails. Imagine they put lime juice on your entrails. Like that must hurt. So that's what the warlock did. And they heard a scream, like a man scream. They ran to the place to see what was going on. And there, they only found a dead rooster.
After hearing a man scream?
And
what happened to the crops?
After that, the crops started growing again, like normal. And not only that, but the animals stopped getting eaten. The warlock though told him he wanted to take the rooster for him not to get cursed.